Hello, plebeian. Would you happen to be in the market for a guide on how to play the merchant? Ho, Okay, enough of that, I'm bored. Today we're going over the merchant. I'll tell you the ins and outs of buying an apple for an actually reasonable price, and the subtle art of literally paying to win. The starting inventory for the merchant is, well, I don't really know how to describe it. I guess it's very particular. I'm blanking here. You got a Phrygian hat for maximum swag, a monocle that doubles the appraisal speed of gems, and marks you as a friend of shopkeepers. We'll get to that in a minute. And finally, a leather breastpiece and leather gloves for some AC. Your only weapon is a bronze axe, but you also start with a pickaxe, which can double as an extremely unreliable weapon. Otherwise, you get 1 piece of cheese, 2 pieces of meat, 3 scrolls of remove curse, and 2 scrolls of identify. The starting skills for the merchant are, oh boy, 20 leadership, 50 trading, 50 appraisal, 10 tinkering, 10 alchemy, and 25 axes. There is not even a hint of combat effectiveness, but what is here is an extreme ability to identify items quickly and also buy lower while selling higher. There is a whisper, a vague concept of tinkering and alchemy, but those aren't very consequential in the end. How do I script this without sounding like a fool? The class is good. The entire name of the game here is money. Hoard it and spend it wisely. The biggest thing the merchant has over every other class is they are able to make decent purchases from shops from the very beginning of the game, whereas every other class has to toil and struggle to save a couple hundred gold just to spend every last coin on a single item. The merchant starts with 1,000 gold, which is already a large amount of money to work with, but your charisma and trading skill will make items cheaper and increase the amount of gold you get when you sell an item, so your gold will go much further. This is all at the expense of having almost zero combat ability. The idea here is that you buy whatever you need, be it weapons, tools, or food, and sell most of the items that you find on the ground. Particularly, you'll want to hold on to gems because their worth ranges from a couple hundred to a couple thousand gold, and your monocle doubles the appraisal speed of gems. For every other kind of item though, your starting kit is designed to make it easier to sell things or use them. If you find a white gem, that could be either worthless glass worth 1 gold or a diamond worth 3,000 gold. If you don't have the appraisal skill to identify it yet and you're willing to gamble, you can pop one of your scrolls of identify and use it on that gem. If you find an excellent steel axe, but it's cursed, you can pop one of your scrolls of remove curse and make it a viable weapon. The primary difference between single-player and multiplayer merchant gameplay is who gets all the items you buy are uncursed. If you're in single-player, then you are the sole beneficiary of all purchases made. If you're in multiplayer, however, then you become the face of the party, buying whatever the group may need, be it food, weapons, or utility-based items such as tinkering kits or alembics. In this way, it's a pseudo-support class, but I'm more inclined to describe it as a utility class, just because the only thing you do is money management. For weapon recommendations, it's very broad. The only weapon that you have skill in at the beginning is axes, and even then, it's only 25, so the world is your oyster if you are willing to pick something and stick to it. Of course, if you decide to stay with axe as your main weapon, then you'll want to get Parashu, but in the event that Funny Bones doesn't spawn, or you don't want to use axes, then I think ranged is your next best option, simply because there's so many different weapons that all do ranged damage. Plus, it then encourages you to stay out of your enemy's range, which is a very good idea because you as a merchant are very, very squishy. I'd recommend actually using any magic staffs that you come across, rather than doing what I typically do and just burning through them. They offer flat magic damage, but you can't beat free spellcasting. In regards to armor, just like the last several guides, you want to stay light in order to stay mobile. There is no point in high AC if you don't have high health, so it's better to just avoid as much damage as possible. Leather armor in the chest slot, and anything else in any other slot. Particularly, a gold mask and jester hat are actually some of the best armor pieces for this class, because the jester hat increases your charisma, and the gold mask increases your trading skill, and reduces the weight of any gold you carry. Miscellaneous items. It's just everything. I mean this literally, you want everything in the game because you can sell it. One of the best specific items you could get would be a backpack, because it lets you carry more things that you can sell. By extension, you may also want a tinkering kit, because those allow you to craft backpacks at the sacrifice of your precious stock. I mentioned it earlier, but this class is the one that wants gems the most because you get the most out of them, and you should be able to appraise them relatively early on. Quick tip, if you really want to min-max your gold gains, play with random minotaurs on. If you kill the minotaur, it will always drop a flawless gem, and usually a very valuable one. So, if you have the will, the party, and/or the means to slay the beast, I recommend doing so. And finally, race synergies. Wouldn't you know it, this is also pretty easy for me to talk about because just like the cleric, literally every race works here, but for a different reason than the cleric. See, as I said in the inventory section of this video, your monocle marks you as a friend of the shopkeepers. This means that they will not attack you, even if you're a monster. Of course, if you attack them, that's all out the window. They do not tolerate criminals. With this in mind, it is always more beneficial to play as a monster when playing merchant because you can have the benefits of that given race and not need to worry about the primary downside. Truly, it is a win-win scenario. Humans will still attack you though, so do be wary. In conclusion, scour the map for anything valuable, purchase your way into power, and force your friends to carry your stock with the excuse that you can't beat the game without it. That's it for the merchant guide. If you enjoyed, buy my cryptocurrency, Willis Coin. It's only going up and can only get better from here.